Good afternoon, everyone, from the IBD Newsroom. Welcome to Stock Market Today. On today's show, we're going to take a look at another resilient stock market. It was a soft open, but we closed well off lows. We're also going to take a look at three stocks. A breakout for HubSpot on earnings. Take a look at Square, which is flirting with another breakout over an alternate entry. And another earnings report from a payments processor called WEX. But first, let's take a look and see what the major averages did today. Hi, everyone. Ken Shreve, joined by Ed Carson. And we had the Dow down 0.4% at the close. A weak earnings report from Cisco Systems was the main downward catalyst there. But NASDAQ down 0.1%. The S&P 500 down 0.2%. This market has been resilient for a long time, and it was just kind of more of the same today.
Yeah, I mean, we opened weak, as you said, because overnight China said that's main, sort of the epicenter of the coronavirus crisis. They reported over 14,000 new cases, though. That was mostly for a new definition. People shrugged it off, and it came back. We could have pulled back. We could have pulled back quite a bit, without any news, really, because we're again at channel highs or at record highs. But the market just says, no, I don't care. I don't care if it's World War III with Iran. I don't care if we're going to have a pandemic with China. We're just going to move on, and we're just going to keep going. So very nice action today.
And, of course, everybody thought that there could be a big sell-off in Tesla shares on a 2 billion share offering, and that stock was down sharply early and closed with another explosive gain, so nobody can stop Tesla. But, yeah, that NASDAQ chart, very strong, up 3 days in a row, a small decline today, so confirmed uptrend still very much intact. All right, well, let's take a look at some individual stocks. We've been talking about the enterprise software space for many, many weeks on this show. Just a great pocket of leadership in the market, and a really strong earnings report from HubSpot. This is ticker HUBS, and we're going to take a look at a chart here and see a very powerful breakout, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of weird. Overnight, people didn't quite know what to make of it because the earnings were strong. Their guidance was sort of mixed. But, HubSpot, it's hard to see right here, but while it's breaking out very strongly, and the RS line has made a move, and obviously really moved today, the RS line is still lagging within the consolidation. So that is a concern, though it's definitely over its short-term level. It's just the growth also has been slowing a little bit. That would be the other downside, but really nice action today, really strong volume.
Well, something we've been talking about a lot lately on IBD Live every day, that out of all the stocks that are building bases right now, it's really hard to find stocks that don't have lagging relative strength lines. So some of these breakouts are going to work, like HubSpot, but that lagging relative strength line is something that you generally want to pay attention to. This was a good report from HubSpot, and it did fuel a good breakout today despite a lagging RS line. All right, let's take a look at Square, ticker SQ. This is a stock that not that long ago broke out over a 71.10 cup with handle buy point. Fundamental story still very much intact with Square, but we have another alternate entry here, Ed.
Yeah, it sort of got above that. You can sort of see that handle there. It's back for a consolidation going back several weeks and several months, actually. Flirted with that entry. You don't really see that handle on the weekly chart, so that is something. Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of this base was below the 200-day line. That's sort of that gray line that's sort of in there, and so that's something, it has recently been above that, but it does show some weakness in that front. So, you could buy it around here if it clears this alternate entry, or you could also wait for it to set up again, like maybe form a better base. If this is really going to return to be that sort of that big model book type winner that it was for a while, that could be something else. You don't have to buy every breakout.
Well, we like stocks with strong fundamentals and strong technicals, and Square certainly passes muster there. In fact, if you look at a weekly chart for Square at investors.com, Ed noted that you're not going to see a handle, but a nice little cup-shaped base. And actually, I think here we have a weekly chart for Square, and you can see just a cup base here, and could be on the verge of a breakout, so a good one for the watch list. All right, let's wrap up by talking about WEX. This is a name that many of you may not be familiar with, ticker WEX, and this was another a good earnings report as well today.
Yeah, I mean, it reclaimed a buy point. You can see here, pretty strong action. It had broken out a few weeks ago. But then very shortly it came back down, but it didn't break the sell rule. It just found support at the 50-day line. So nice action again today. Look, when the market's doing this well, it's not surprising to see a lot of stocks hitting, breaking out, hitting new buy zones, and it's just been really strong. Strong market, strong leadership. It's just been great.
And this is a company that actually is one of FleetCor's direct competitors in the payment processing space. So WEX is interesting because this is a stock that is actionable right now. It jumped back above that 221.76 buy point. Good action at the 50-day moving average. This chart jumped out late to me as a name that looks pretty good here. But again, good earnings report is the catalyst. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today. Just a reminder again, the Dow down 0.4%, NASDAQ down 0.1%, and S&P down 0.2%. Looks like volume is going to come in lighter than what we saw on Wednesday, so that's a positive. Even when indexes were selling off, there wasn't a whole lot of volume, so that is good as well. All right, as we always end with a couple of house cleaning items, we have another podcast to talk to you about. Irusha Pires has been manning our Investing with IBD podcast for several months, doing a great job. He spoke with, I think it was George Owen. George Owen and his 16-year-old daughter. So you can check that out at investors.com/podcast. And let's see, what else do we have here? I know we have, the webinar. I think this is with Amy Smith and Matt Galagani. This is going to be Thursday, February 20th, next week, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. The CanSlim Investing System. Amy and Matt do a great job with webinars. This one's free, so get more information at investors.com/webinar. All right, folks. Well, again, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you back here on Friday.